Hi, my name is Chris Fish,
My name is Ethan Phillips.
and this is our study, A Gamer's Personality, a look into the relationship between internet gaming disorder, impulsiveness, and extroversion. Video games have become a popular form of entertainment, leading individuals to spend more time engaging in playing video games. Some people spend more time engaging with playing video games than others and may procrastinate or completely neglect their daily obligations.
Internet gaming disorder, IGD, is a disorder where individuals engage in playing video games to an extent that they cannot function properly in society. This is in line with some of the characteristics of addiction. Researchers have found that different personality traits have a relationship to addiction. As researchers, we were interested to see if a relationship exists between IGD and extroversion, as well as IGD and impulsivity.
We chose extroversion as one of our dependent variables because playing video games is most often a solitary activity. People who score high in extroversion typically enjoy social interaction, where individuals who are low in extroversion tend to enjoy solitary activities such as reading, painting, crafting, and yes, video games. The second dependent variable that we examined was impulsivity. Rationale behind examining if there is a relationship between internet gaming disorder and impulsivity is that individuals who score high in impulsivity would impulsively or pathologically engage in playing video games and could be an etiology of internet gaming disorder or could play a role in its prognosis. We hypothesize that internet gaming disorder will be negatively correlated with extroversion and positively correlated with impulsivity. Based on definitions of each personality trait, those who score low in extroversion will report more symptoms associated with internet gaming disorder. Those who score high on impulsivity may report more symptoms of internet gaming disorder because they may impulsively fall back on video games as a coping mechanism.
We administered our survey online using Google Docs. Consent was given prior to everyone taking the survey. Our survey consisted of questions from 3 Likert style scales. To measure the presence of IGD, we used the 10-item Internet Gaming Disorder test. To assess levels of impulsivity, an abbreviated version of the Barratt Impulsivity Scale known as the BIS-Brief was used. To elaborate on the personality trait extroversion, we used the questions from the Maudsley Personality Inventory that pertain to extroversion. Figure 1 shows the relationship between IGD and extroversion. The y-axis of this figure represents the raw scores from the IGD-T10. The more symptoms individuals report, the higher the score. The x-axis represents levels of extroversion via MPIE-Scale raw scores. People high in extroversion had greater scores. Within the scatter plot is the correlation coefficient indicating a statistically non-significant relationship. Figure 2 shows the relationship between IGD and impulsivity. The y-axis of Figure 2 represents the impulsivity using BIS-Brief raw scores. Those with higher scores report greater levels of impulsivity, and the x-axis represents the IGD-T10 raw scores. Again, located in the scatter plot is the correlation coefficient indicating a statistically insignificant relationship.
We found that there is no significant correlation between internet gaming disorder and extroversion or impulsivity. However, a trend towards a significant negative correlation between internet gaming disorder and extroversion was observed. The observance of a trend towards a negative correlation between internet gaming disorder and extroversion leads us to believe that there is in fact a relationship between both variables. Unfortunately, due to statistical insignificance and the fact that a correlation was performed, the magnitude and direction of the relationship between internet gaming disorder and extroversion is unknown. The only definitive statement that can be made concerning the trend is that individuals who score high in extroversion reported having less symptoms associated with internet gaming disorder than those who scored low in extroversion.
There were quite a few limitations to our study. First was our sample size. With any type of study, the larger the sample size, the more accurate your data will be able to generalize at the population level. Because we were only able to obtain scores from 24 participants, the data cannot generalize to the public. A larger sample size may also provide enough data to confirm statistical significance of a relationship between variables. It's possible that the characteristic question may have hindered our data collection process. Using the phrase, "I enjoy playing video games on a regular basis," is a bit vague because regular basis is relative to the individual. Rephrasing the question to "I enjoy video games" leaves little room for misinterpretation and could bolster our sample size. If we were to eliminate the characteristic question, we may get a broader sample that more accurately generalizes at the population level. The last major limitation of our study was that we used self-report surveys. As with any self-report survey, participants may exaggerate or underreport their true attitudes, leading to skewed data.
Future studies may want to use a longitudinal study to better uncover causes and prognosis of internet gaming disorder. Future studies also may discern which Big Five personality traits play the largest role in the development of internet gaming disorder. This study only covers 2 personality traits that could be associated with internet gaming disorder. It is possible that behavioral aspects such as reinforcement to play video games has a role in the development of internet gaming disorder. Something else that future studies may want to examine are reasons that individuals start playing video games in the first place. Overall, we found that extroversion and internet gaming disorder do have a relationship, and that internet gaming disorder and impulsivity do not have a relationship. How significant the relationship between extroversion and internet gaming disorder is still unknown.